Yeah, I would agree. And what's cool is like, I feel grateful that I've come in at the time that I have. Like, I haven't experienced, too many terrible locker rooms or practicing in a D3.
Kate Martin didn't hold back as she defends Caitlin Clark. From WNBA Bullies, Martin just sparked a huge online reaction, and critics of the WNBA are in full meltdown mode. She confidently stated that yes, the league is receiving special benefits, with no apologies or backpedaling, just pure assurance. Meanwhile, traditional analysts are complaining about the importance of hard work, while Kate is effortlessly enjoying her WNBA privileges like royalty.
You girl.
Like, that's good. You shouldn't have to.
And you know what? I'm not gonna say sorry either. I am thankful for that.
Please don't. You shouldn't say sorry.
But here's the thing also is
it wasn't your fault.
With the landscape of how sports has changed and everything is people we shouldn't feel sorry for being in this space, and we shouldn't feel sorry for getting things that we deserve that people before us have been fighting for so long. So it's I feel grateful that I was born when I was born, and I am here when I am.
One Kate Martin just shut down every critic trying to bring Caitlin Clark down, all while smiling. On Sue Bird's podcast, she made it clear there's no apology from her or Caitlin, and honestly, Caitlin shouldn't apologize. She's revolutionized the game, and if the WNBA is finally acknowledging her impact, then so be it.
With the landscape of how sports has changed and everything is people we shouldn't feel sorry for being in this space, and we shouldn't feel sorry for getting things that we deserve that people before us have been fighting for so long. So it's
let's be honest, the WNBA has been overlooked for years. Legends like Cheryl Swoops, Lisa Leslie, and Tina Thompson put in the work when no one was watching. They played in empty arenas, earned small paychecks, and hoped for just a mention on ESPN. Now, the league is finally getting the attention it deserves. But instead of celebrating, some former players are upset. Kate didn't hesitate. She made it clear that she can't apologize for the opportunities Caitlin and herself are getting that others didn't. And that's the kind of energy we need.
Her defense, and in the pros, when she got some minutes early, just her, her star and people that were really connecting with her. And she's just the greatest young woman. I'm biased. She's my spouse's biological niece, my niece, and she was 5. She'd stay with us. But she had a dream. She put our poster above her bed in her room, looked up at the Hawk poster. And then she, got good enough to be recruited. And the story is, I loved her, but I removed myself, right? That I told Lisa, I go, you got to fly down and you got to check that. This kid's blue collar. And Lisa flew down and she was like, Dad, right?
Yesterday, speaking about Kate Martin, I'm here to tell you.
Why should she apologize for progress? Should LeBron apologize because NBA players in the 60s had to work part-time jobs? Should Serena Williams apologize because women's tennis was once overlooked? Evolution is part of the game. And let's not pretend Caitlin Clark hasn't earned every opportunity coming her way. The girl is a walking highlight reel, sinking logo threes like they're layups and breaking records that have stood for decades. Let's be real, many people only started watching women's college basketball because of her, and it's okay to admit it.
People before us have been fighting for so long. So it's I feel grateful that I was born when I was born, and I am here when I am, and so
the right time.
But it's the same thing with Caitlin turning down the three-point shooting contest and things like that. Is come to the WNBA All-Star, we all of these things, this is great for our sport, but it's also great to intermix and for us to be here, and everything Tip said is we have more sponsorships, we have more opportunities, and it's really cool to be able to showcase all of that, but also let's showcase it at WNBA All-Star too.
But no, people want to act like Caitlin Clark is only getting attention because she's white. Look, we can acknowledge that race plays a role in media coverage, but let's be honest. If Caitlin Clark were putting up these numbers at 5'7", and without her athleticism, nobody would care. She's getting this hype because she's a once-in-a-generation player. Drop her in any era and she'd still dominate. And Kate Martin, she's been right there with her, fighting alongside her at Iowa. So when Kate says, I'm not sorry, that Caitlin is getting what she deserves, it's not just loyalty, it's the truth. Meanwhile, some WNBA vets are throwing shade like it's a sport. Back in my day, we had to fly commercial. Okay, and does that mean today's players should suffer too? That's like your grandpa telling you he walked 10 miles to school in the snow. Cool story, Gramps. We have Uber now. Times change.
Definitely say my goals, like my short-term goals, change year after year. Last year, my goal was to get drafted, and then my goal was to make the roster, and then my goal was, to stay on that team and then give it my best and be ready when my name was called. And so, then my goal in the off season was to work on specific things, and then goal and unrivaled, whatever it is. But my goal for this year, I would say, is just to continue to be confident and know I belong.
Caitlin Clark and the new generation are changing the WNBA for the better. Arenas are selling out, merch is flying off shelves, and ratings are at all-time highs. This is what older players fought for. Instead of embracing the change, some are stuck in bitterness, wanting the respect they never got. But tearing down Caitlin Clark or dismissing today's players isn't the answer. The solution is to celebrate progress and keep it going. Kate Martin gets it. She's not apologizing for taking advantage of the opportunities in front of her and won't dim Caitlin's shine just because the system was broken before.
I think what Caitlin has done for not just college basketball, but for women's basketball, period, I think has been great. The following, people watching the game, sellouts that we haven't seen ever. It just really bothers me, though, when people just take bits and pieces of what they want to take and they don't listen to everything and you don't hear everything. It wasn't personal. One, it was my opinion on how I think she'll be at the next level, because I do remember me saying that Caitlin, to me, could be the best college shooter I've ever seen. When you put these expectations on these young women in college to go to the next level and be immediately dominant, and when that doesn't happen, then people come back and say, oh, she was a bust, she was a flop, she wasn't that good. Just let them do what they're doing in college, enjoy what they're doing in college, and let them become stars in the WNBA.
Honestly, it's hilarious watching Kate shut down the critics. Some WNBA vets probably thought she'd come on that podcast and say, yeah, it's so unfair. We're so lucky. Nope. She basically told them to cry about it, and we love that energy. So, yeah, let's give Caitlin Clark her flowers, and let's give Kate Martin hers too, because she's standing strong. The WNBA is finally getting the attention it's always deserved, and instead of arguing about who suffered more, maybe we should just enjoy the moment. If this is just the beginning, the future of the league is about to be wild.
For everybody who's pretending like they don't understand why Caitlin Clark's getting all the attention, when they just showed up to the WNBA discussion too. Let's start with the fact that the women's national championship game outrated the men's by millions. First time that's ever happened, which is why TV Network already decided to televise almost all of the Indiana Fever games. And road opponents have changed arenas in order to accommodate demand. Since yesterday's price is not today's price. And that's the reason Clark was on SNL ahead of the WNBA draft. And the draft ratings were higher than the previous 6 years combined, with Fanatics reporting Clark's jersey sales were higher than they've ever seen.
Caitlin Clark is out here doing what legends only dreamed of, bringing eyes, money, and endless conversation to the WNBA. Her best friend, Kate Martin, sees it all firsthand and couldn't be prouder. But while the new generation is reaping the rewards, the OGs of the game are side-eyeing the situation, wondering where all this attention was when they were playing. Kate Martin is riding the Clark effect straight to the big leagues. Undrafted, but picked up because, well, when your best friend is single-handedly filling arenas, you get a little extra shine. It's like rolling with the popular kid in school. You might not have done much, but somehow you still get invited to the VIP section. And to be fair, Kate can hoop, but let's be honest, it's the Caitlin Clark cosign.
Legitimately. No one person means as much to their league, whatever league it is, Caitlin Clark means to the WNBA. And no person has done more for their league than what Caitlin Clark has done for the WNBA. When we look back on this, Caitlin Clark will be for the WNBA what Magic Johnson and Larry Bird were for the NBA. If this thing ever becomes as big as some people think it can become.
That Iowa team is a big reason. Well, sorry. It's not a big reason why the Aces have their facility, and it's not a big reason why the Valkyries. But that Iowa team is a big reason for them damn charter flights. We can be honest here. It's a big reason for them charter flights.
And I think Kate was one of those players, the way she played and her humility, but also her grit and that little, glisten in her eye and that confidence, it just resonated, right? And you could see the glue, which she became. And then when she got that break to go to the pros, really good coaches know that there's a lot of things that happen with those glue kids. And to see her become a star on the WNBA level, although she was a role player, I loved everything about that story.